Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a pretty radical idea. What if all our biggest global problems, climate change, political chaos, all of it, what if they aren't actually separate crises? What if they're all just symptoms of one single massive breakdown? A breakdown in our ability to work together. Let's get into it.
So this really gets to the heart of it, right? We have more data, more money, and more technology than at any point in human history. We should be crushing these problems. And yet this tangled mess of crises, what folks are calling the polycrisis, it just keeps getting worse. It makes you wonder, what on earth are we missing? I mean, we all know the headlines. Climate chaos, political gridlock, tech spiraling out of control. It's a lot. But the core argument we're digging into today is that maybe we've been looking at this all wrong. These aren't a bunch of separate problems we have to solve one by one. They're all just symptoms of the exact same root cause. And here is that root diagnosis. It's a fundamental breakdown in our relationships. Our relationship with the planet, with our own institutions, and maybe most importantly, our relationships with each other. It's a deep loss of trust, a loss of shared purpose, and a loss of our ability to just be coherent. Okay, and this is where it starts to get really, really interesting. The paper we're looking at is crystal clear on this point. We are not short on solutions, not at all. We have brilliant ideas, incredible technologies, and solid policies just waiting to be implemented. So if we already have the answers, what's the holdup?
The real bottleneck is a lack of logistical capacity. Now, I know when you hear the word logistics, you're probably picturing shipping containers and Amazon warehouses, but this paper redefines it as something much, much bigger. Think of it as our collective ability to actually orchestrate meaningful change. It's about aligning our purpose, our actions, and all our resources to create a positive transformation that can actually last.
And that term polycrisis is so important here. It's not just a lot of bad things are happening at once. No, it's a terrifying feedback loop where each crisis fuels the others. For example, climate change forces people to migrate, which puts a huge strain on governments, which slows down climate action, which makes climate change even worse, which fuels fear and division, which completely destroys the collaboration we need to solve any of it. You see, it's a self-perpetuating cycle of failure. This slide just nails the core disconnect. On one side, you have what they call purpose-rich groups. Think activists, local communities, educators. They have the passion, the urgency, the values, but they don't have the scale or the operational muscle. And on the other side, you've got the logistics-rich actors, huge corporations, governments, big institutions. They have incredible coordinating power and global reach, but their core purpose often just isn't aligned with the health of the planet. So what you end up with is a system that's constantly fighting itself. But the diagnosis goes even deeper than that. The argument is that the real bottleneck isn't just in our external systems, like our economies or governments. It's also in our internal ones. It's about what's going on inside our own heads and our own hearts. Wow. Just sit with that for a second. Fear isn't just a bad feeling. It's a logistical toxin. It actively poisons our ability to work together effectively. When we're all operating from a place of fear, our capacity for complex, long-term, creative problem-solving just collapses. And here's exactly how that poison spreads through the system. Fear makes us crave simple answers and strong leaders, so power gets centralized. It shrinks our thinking down to just surviving the next 5 minutes, not the next 50 years. It makes us look for someone to blame, and it rewards punishing people over actually repairing what's broken. It's a total shutdown of the creativity and learning we so desperately need. Okay, so if the diagnosis is a total breakdown in our relationships, poisoned by fear, what's the prescription? Well, the paper proposes that we have to completely reimagine the purpose of logistics itself. It's not about moving stuff around more efficiently. It's about putting our entire global system in service of life. So here's the new definition. Transformational logistics isn't about profit or efficiency. It's the art and science of coordinating everything. Information, trust, resources, governance, our actions, all in a way that is explicitly designed from the ground up to make our planet and our societies healthier. This also means we have to move way beyond the old idea of sustainability. I mean, think about it. Trying to sustain a system that is fundamentally broken isn't a solution. It's just a way to delay the inevitable collapse. The goal has to be regeneration, actively restoring the life-supporting capacity of our ecosystems, our communities, and ourselves. This isn't some nice-to-have ideal. It's a cold, hard logistical requirement for survival. So you might be thinking, okay, that all sounds great, But how do you actually do any of this? Well, these abstract ideas are made very concrete in a proposed treatment plan, an operational system called the Phoenix platform. In a nutshell, Phoenix is a new kind of coordination system, and its whole job is to tackle both sides of the problem we've been talking about, the external logistical failures we can see, and the internal human dynamics, like fear, blame, and mistrust, that are actually driving those failures in the first place.
Okay, this slide right here, this is the engine room of the whole idea. It maps out exactly how the system is designed to counteract our default human failure modes. So for instance, to fight our tendency toward judgment and mistrust, it has a process for building relational coherence. To help us manage our own fear and reactivity, it builds our interior capacity so that we can actually keep coordinating even when things get stressful. It's basically a blueprint for an operating system that's designed for how humans actually are, not how we wish we were.
So, what's so radical about this? Well, for one, it treats our emotions not as bugs in the system, but as critical logistical data points. It builds systems that actually expect people to feel fear or get attached to old ideas. And instead of punishing mistakes, it makes learning and repairing relationships a core part of the whole process. The big idea is to make transformations stable enough that it can actually take hold and stick around. And really, this is what it all boils down to. We can have all the solar panels, all the AI, all the carbon capture technology in the world, but if we can't solve the human challenge, our fear, our mistrust, our deep-seated inability to coordinate, then all those technical solutions are never ever going to be enough. So the paper leaves us with this final, powerful question. The technology and the frameworks, those can be designed. They're just tools. The real work, the deep work, is relational. It's asking if we're actually capable of fundamentally changing how we relate to ourselves, to each other, and to this planet we all call home. And really, the answer to that question, well, that's up to us.